Sword Art Online. Pretty disappointed. Oh, Sword Art Online. What a franchise that I really love so much to the bottom of my heart. Yes, I am a big fan of the Sword Art Online series, and as you can tell in the background, I have been playing a lot of Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris. Now, I had to calm myself down before I wanted to make this video because I have so much gripes with this game, and in the background it'll practically show you almost what I'm talking about. So I was doing this quest where this guy wants me to go into this field, and he wants me to take out a certain boss, which is a honeybee. Now this honeybee, I didn't get a chance to actually record the very beginning because I didn't think I wanted to make a video about this, but after fighting it, I had to say something. The problem is what I had is that the enemies in this game are just way too much. I feel like when I was fighting this honeybee, its workers, the other little bees around it, it just kept piling up on you, and it's just dealing damage over and over, making you lose a lot of health. Now, why I wanted to record this is because ever since the start of the game, I've been having so much gripes, so much problems, that I felt like it needs to be addressed as soon as possible. A lot of people will probably not say anything about it, or maybe they say, oh, the game is good, and to an extent, yes, I do love Alicization Lycoris. That's something I do want to clarify. I do like this game, I do love it, but there is so much problems that need to be addressed, and I feel like it needs to be said now. So, first of all, where do I start? Well, the first problem I had with the game is combat. Whenever I started playing Alicization Lycoris, I kind of felt like the combat was just lacking. As you first start off the game, you fight the administrator. The administrator is the boss in Alicization Underworld in the anime, where she is the leader of this virtual reality that wants to make everything her way. She wants to be able to take it over while also taking over the computer to go into the real world. The administrator was, I wouldn't say the most annoying, but at the same time, really, you could struggle so much. That's all I can say. When I was fighting her, I kind of felt like the combat was just very, very lacking. The movement felt a little way too slow than what it's supposed to be, and it felt like anything that you tried, you can get countered immediately right after. Whenever I was trying to fight the administrator, I started realizing that any strong move I had just barely did anything to her. Or when I try to deal a certain move, like for example, if I'm using a Fury, or that one move that they showed you right here in the video, Kirito does this spin on top and then spins at the bottom. You can actually get countered back and countered out of that instantly, as a part as when they pull one of those moves, either it's a 50-50 chance where you can stun them, and other times you can't. Mostly you can. The problem that I have with the combat is that the enemy's AI has too much of a bigger advantage than you, the player itself. I kind of feel like the combat is a little unfair and unresponsive whenever you're fighting. For example, as I am trying to deal some damage, some other enemies can just come back from behind and stun me. The game is based around fighting one enemy at a time. As you can deal other damage to other enemies around you, it just kind of feels like you can't. For example, if you're just dealing normal or heavy attacks, you're focusing on one enemy, but then you have maybe like 2-3 enemies on the side be attacking you all at once. That is a problem that I have with the game, and that is something that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. I kind of feel like whenever you were fighting someone, you have the choice of actually fighting them either in a group or fighting them all together. Compared to what I found out in Sword Art Online Alicization, I love Alicization. It's the perfect blend of good combat, good world exploration, good loot. And we're going to be getting to that. I'm going to be making a lot of comparison to Sword Art Online Alicization, and probably doing a lot in here for Alicization Lycoris. So, what I feel like they should really start doing is they should start really improving the combat and the response to the character's supposed to respond to the attack you want to do. Another problem that I have with the combat is, as you saw, my character Lana, she decided to fling forward where she was facing instead of what the camera was facing. So your mind is sitting there thinking, okay, let me just do this quick attack and I can just go instantly and do a quick attack. No, whatever she is facing, the combat goes that way. Do you understand what I'm saying? I really do not like how the combat is portrayed in this game, and the movement when it comes to this combat is very unresponsive. And as you saw right there, whenever you get launched in the air, you fall down so majestically, so slowly, that they can deal damage and be able to keep you up in the air while they keep spamming certain moves. The honeybee that I was fighting, it was the most annoying and frustrating enemy in the game. And this is only the beginning area. This is only, what, like chapter 2 of 2 or chapter 2 of 3? I'm not so sure. I really do not like the combat as much as I thought it was gonna be. I just felt like the animations are just way too slow and way too blocky than what it's supposed to be. I kind of felt like the combat was just right when it came to Sword Art Online Alicization, and I do not know why didn't it went with the same concept, just in a different style. I would have loved to see the almost the same concept in the world of Alicization Lycoris. It would have been pretty cool, but that isn't the only problem I have with the game. And the second problem I have with the game is the enemy AI and your partner's AI. The enemy's AI seems to be dealing more damage than what you can deal. For example, if they're a higher level, maybe like one level above, the honeybee right here is only one level above me. I am a level 25, or he's a level 26. He was be able to deal more damage towards me than I was able to deal more damage towards it. The problem I have with that is that it kind of does not feel like the level it's supposed to be. It says it's supposed to be a level 26, but it feels like it's a level 40, a level 50, a level higher than what I'm supposed to be. It does not feel like the level it says it is. And that's a problem. Especially if I have to run around like an idiot, waiting for my partners to be revived, in order for me to be continuing dealing damage, in order just to lose all my health all over again, which then makes me run around like a headless chicken again. Now, I know that the enemy AI is a big deal, but your partner's AI is even worse. The partners that I loved so much was in Alicization, as they attack the enemies even without you giving them commands. The command system in Alicization actually showed where you can tell them, hey, I want you to group up around this certain enemy and I want you to all pile on damage on them, while then letting you finish off the last bit of damage in order to stun the enemies to weaken it, for you can all deal damage all together. Alicization, or I should say, Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris, makes you need to press, I think, either L1 or R1. I really forgot which one it is. Maybe L2. I'm not so sure. The buttons are all over the place. They have to be selected manually by you. As you can see in the video, Yujiro ain't dealing anything. It's not doing anything. He's just running around following you. Certain occasion, he will start attacking the enemy and will deal some damage. I'm putting that in quotation because the damage that they deal is less than the damage what Kirito does. Your AI partners are so brain dead, they don't know what they're doing without you telling them what to do. Like I said earlier, in order for them to even attack an enemy, you're gonna have to command them by holding either L1 or R1. Don't know exactly which one because, oh boy, they don't do anything. And it sucks. With the damage they barely deal, you can't customize their skills. You can't actually put the sword you want them to use. I don't know about, maybe I can equip a sword for them. I'm not 100% sure. I still need to double check. But I want to be able to customize my partners if they're not going to do it for me. At least in Fatal Bullet, they all have their own skill sets they are using. And each of their skill sets are set for them, while letting you customize your skill set in order to match what your playstyle is. Now, I do like the idea of switching in between characters, and I do love the idea of playing as Yu-Gi-Oh, switching from Kirito to Yu-Gi-Oh and to Medina, but there's another big problem when it comes to that, and that is because once you have two set of characters you can switch in between, for example, Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh, you can't play as Medina. Or if Kirito dies, then you're stuck between Yu-Gi-Oh and Medina. Your side partners are lacking in power, are lacking in strength, that if you get stuck with any of those guys, you're pretty much screwed unless you can down one of them. So like that, it can give you the option to switch over to your main character. Now the reason why I say that is because you can customize your character, but there's really no point, because your main character, which is your custom character, is just a reskin of how you want Kirito to look. Now in Hollow Realization, that is the same thing, but at least in Hollow Realization, they actually show you your custom character during cutscenes, and that's a big gripe that I have. Look at Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. At least in Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, your story is resolved around your character. The character that you have created is the character you will see. A character that will be popping up here and there. Kirito will be the main source of the story, but at the same time, your character is the one you're playing as. You cannot play as Kirito, you cannot play as Asuna, you cannot play as Lifa, only your character. And I like that because it makes me feel like I'm part of the group. It makes me feel like it's my story. They're resolving around my story, not what Kirito thinks or what Kirito has to do. It's what you have to do. And that's where I kind of felt like in Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris, it kind of flopped. Because as much as they were, trying their best to implement our character creation like the way how they did in Hollow Realization, in this game, not even in a 3D cutscene you're going to be able to see as much your character, because they're going to be resolving around Kirito on what he has to do and how the story is going to resolve around him. Then what is the point of putting a character creator if you're not going to be able to let us see our character interact with the others, or at least let us visually see it and make us feel like it's us? No, it's just plain old Kirito. And in Hollow Realization, at least they have just the voice of Kirito while keeping the looks of the character, so it won't be as off. I don't mind that. I just like the idea of playing as my character, and my character is the main source of the story. They did kind of took us forward in Fatal Bullet, like I said, where they have your character be the main part of the story. But in Alicization Lycoris, it's making you feel like, what's the point of even having a character creator if not even the multiplayer is going to let you be able to have its own set path of a story? Now, the multiplayer in this game is based off what the main story is going through. For example, the quest that I'm supposed to be doing, it says, you can actually call in other players to do this. That's cool. That's alright. At least I can call in some players I can actually play this with, but how? Where? What am I going to do with them? What's going to happen after I already kill this boss? That's the questions I'm asking. Multiplayer is supposed to be a side where you're going to be able to collect side loot, be able to go exploring, be able to go looking for dungeons or simple things you can do instead of just doing co-op missions. Out of all the options you got, you only got co-op missions? That is embarrassing. Straight up embarrassing. It feels like this game is lacking in a lot of quality of life improvements, and with everything that's been going on right now in the world, I understand that a lot of people are not the way how they used to be. I mean, a lot of people have to be staying home, and I do respect them staying home and staying safe, but if you're gonna be bringing out this game half-assed and half-baked, it's just, why didn't you just delay it? Why can't it could have been reworked in a matter where the multiplayer feels different, while then your character has an impact towards the story, or at least just a visual impact, where the story is being told through the style of your character's look while keeping Kirito's voice? Like, that's something I would not mind. But everything is resolved around Kirito's, his style, the way how he looks, the way how he acts, everything. So it kind of brings me to the point then, why do I even have my character? It's just to be looking at them while playing the gameplay? Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's kind of dull. Especially when the combat lacks so hard. Like I did say before, the animations are janky, they're slow, combat is bad, you barely deal enough damage even to regular enemies who are supposed to be your level. Now, if this is a boss that is supposed to be strong, that you're supposed to have players with you, then why have it at level 26 for that? Huh? Why couldn't you just raise up the level so at least we can actually bring in other players to come help us fight this boss? Even as regular enemies, you can fight just a regular enemy that's just maybe 1 or 2 levels above you, and they can deal more damage to you than what you can deal to them. I don't want to be grinding my ass off all the way up to the end game to enough to deal damage to the enemies that I'm supposed to at a lower light level. Like, why? Why is it like this? I was very disappointed of the combat system, and I kind of feel like they really need to rework it. The multiplayer could have also been used in a different way, where your character can have its own separate story and letting you interact with the world you are in, where Kirito is running around. Instead of just letting Kirito be Kirito, your character is alongside Kirito and be able to help his resistance. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but this game really needs a lot of work, and I kind of feel like they just lack on it. Like, they just didn't really bother with anything. Your AIs, they're brainless. Like, they can't do anything without you giving them a command. In Hollow Realization, you can actually tell them, hey, I want you to go around this enemy and attack it all at once, stunning it, weakening it, letting me deal the massive damage to reduce his health even further. But not even that they couldn't do. I was expecting high hopes for this game because after what I saw with Code Vein, character creation in Code Vein, after I saw what they can do with Hollow Realization, and as much as I had a stressful time with Fatal Bullet, I at least had fun with that game, where the combat felt okay, it felt good, and it even resolved all around your abilities. For example, in Fatal Bullet, you can actually put in flames for your guns. You can add all different types of abilities that you can do, but not in Alicization Lycoris. You can't even have any abilities that can help you out. I mean, yes, you can have certain abilities, but it's not as much as Fatal Bullet. At least in Fatal Bullet, they kept you grinding. Like, they get you leveling up your weapons, your character, in order to deal more damage to higher bosses. But the one problem that Bandai always had when it comes to these games is that they make these enemies way too strong than what they're supposed to be. I don't know if in Japan they have the exact same issue as us here in America, but I just want to know your guys' opinions on this. I mean, this is my opinion, and this is my take on the new combat system for Alicization Lycoris, and so far, I'm not liking it. I mean, I'll keep playing it because I do love the story, and I do enjoy the combat to a certain extent, to where I am not stressful. I will keep leveling up in order to actually deal more damage to higher enemies, and this is wrong. You should be able to deal good damage even if you're 1 or 2 levels under. The previous video I showed you, I was fighting a golem in Hollow Realization. He was way above my level, and I've dealt so much damage towards him because I leveled up my character. I put in the effort to actually level up my skills in order for me to deal that amount of damage. In this game, you don't get that. And even if you do, it is way too slow. The beginning game, it took 10 to 18 hours for you to actually finish the cutscenes. That's literally mostly cutscenes. Barely any gameplay, barely any exploration. And even if you reach chapter 2, you're limited to how much you can explore. You have to keep progressing through the story. Now, normally I would not mind that, but you made me go through 10 through 18 hours of non-stop cutscene. I started off one time at 11 o'clock at night thinking, okay, let me actually just progress through this and watch a little bit of the cutscenes and then go to bed. No, it went from 11 to 6 a.m. in the morning. Never got a chance to actually go to bed. I only got like 4 hours of sleep, and I had to work on another video because of it. You guys, you need to manage your time better. You need to rework the combat. You need to understand that the players are the ones that need to feel powerful, that need to feel weak at the beginning, but at the same time get more and more powerful as you level up. Not make the enemies one level up and they're the strongest thing you'll ever fight. No, that isn't how it works. But these are my opinions. I feel like this game could have just used a lot more work, and it really desperately needs it. But thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did like it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would pretty much appreciate it. And Bandai, please get your act together. This game really needs it. But I'll be seeing you guys on the next video.